In this video, we shall discuss about complex numbers. For more on this topic, you need to subscribe to this channel. We shall talk about the definition and notations of complex numbers. We shall talk about the conjugate complex numbers and the equal complex numbers. First, the definition of complex numbers. A complex number is of the form a plus ib, where a is the real part and b is called the imaginary part. You say, but I squared is equal to negative 1. So these are the things we need to know about complex number. If the complex number is written like this, a plus I b, this is the real part and this is the imaginary part of complex numbers. So we can take some examples of complex numbers. Examples: they are written as 2 plus say I3. It can be written as negative 5 plus I. It can also be written as negative 1, negative I, etc. So complex numbers can be written in this format. We also talk about the conjugate complex numbers. Conjugate complex numbers. The conjugate of a complex number a conjugate of a complex number z is equal to a plus ib is another complex number. Z is equal to a minus ib. So the conjugate of a complex number, say we have this. The conjugate of this complex number is this. So that is what we mean by the conjugate. It's just the opposite of the given complex number. Now we also talk about the equal complex number. Equal. Two complex numbers are said to be equal if and only if their real and imaginary parts, if their real and imaginary parts are equal. That is to say, that is, if z is equal to a plus ib and z is equal to x plus iy, then a is equal to x and b is equal to y. So this is how we can explain the equal complex number. Two complex numbers are said to be equal if their imaginary parts and their real parts are equal, or if they are the same. First, we talked about the complex numbers in a way of summary. We said a complex number is of the form a plus ib, where a is the real part and b is the imaginary part. And we also define what this I stands for. I squared is equal to negative 1. So we have it like this. And we said complex numbers can be written in this form. We have this, and we have another one here. We also talk about the conjugate complex numbers. The conjugate of a complex number, which is this, is just the opposite of that complex number. We also talk about the equal complex numbers, that two complex numbers are said to be equal if their real parts and imaginary parts are equal, or if their real parts and imaginary parts are the same. For more on this topic, you need to subscribe to this channel.